What's up everyone, it's a knife seller here, and today I'm going to be doing a first impressions on my newest knife. This is the Reeve knives Inkosi. This is the one in S45 VN, and I got a Tonto blade for this one. If you guys have watched my channel, you know that I really like Reeve knives. As I messed that up, I have a Num Nums on, small Sabenza, and a large Sabenza. So the Inkosi was the only one out of the main three normal folding knives that I hadn't tried, so it was the next one on the list, and I'd also wanted to try S45 VN, and I saw one pop up on the secondary market with the Tonto blade, so I was like, why not? I'll just try a bunch of different new things with this knife. So I'm really excited for it. I've had it for a couple days, carried it and used it a good amount for just one day, so this is definitely my first impressions on this, but I have sharpened it as well, so let's go ahead and get into the video. So this is just like your normal Reeve knife, pretty much. S45 VN blade, at least for now, Tonto blade, like I said. It's got the standard bead blasted finish. The Inkosi, it always comes with double lugs. There is no single lug Inkosi there's no single lug option like there is with the Sabenza. There is no lanyard hole as well. I don't want to make this a comparison video because I plan on doing one. But it just comes with a lanyard wrapped around the stop pin. Once again, made in the USA. Standard Reeve knives. Pocket clip on this knife. Screw sizes are a little bit different. I think this is a 1/8 inch, or an eighth of an inch Allen key for the screw size for the pivot. I assume it's the 5/32 of an inch for the body screws, like it is on the Sabenza. But yeah, that's about all I got for the anatomy. About 450 bucks new for the large, and I assume 350, 375 for the smalls. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the looks of this knife. And this might just be my bias, I really like how Reeve knives look. I think they're some of the best looking knives out there. I think the dark blasted handle with the lighter colored stonewash blade just looks great. I think that the Sabenza is one of the best looking knives out there, and this one is also one of the best one out there. So yeah, and the Amazon, this is probably my favorite looking knife that I own, but Reeve knives overall, the colors of them really good. It does have the blue stud on this. I prefer silver studs, but I really don't care. If I cared enough, I could ship it back to Reeve knives, pay like, I think 25 bucks for a double lug to put them in. But I mean, that'll probably take 2 to 3 months in total time and cost me money for shipping, and I do not really care that much. But let's get on to the blade of this knife. So S45 VN, once again, first impressions, but how did it feel in sharpening? It felt good. I sharpened this knife right after I sharpened this one. Both of them sharpened up good, but this one actually, I'd say, sharpened up a little bit better. It just felt like it deburred easier, and that would make sense because it is at a higher HRC, and so that's always something that I like to see. I've heard people compare S45 VN to XHP, and if that's the case, that's really good. XHP is just an all-around awesome steel, one of my favorites, and I like that it is being run at a little bit of a, I think it's like 1 point higher when you're looking at the HRC scale. I'm getting out this birth card really quick. So 60 to 62, and then the S35 VN is usually 59 to 60. So I'm really happy about that. I think that is moving in the right direction. I saw Reeve knives. I think they're probably gonna, my guess is that they're gonna switch to MagnaCut, but they probably have a couple years worth of S45 VN that they've already bought. So there's that, but S45 VN seems cool. I like it. The Tonto blade, when sharpening, it was interesting. You know, I'm not really a fan of Tonto blades that much just because they prioritize toughness and scraping and hard use, and I'm not going to use this knife for that. But I mainly just focused on this bevel right here, and it was fine. You know, it was sharpened a little bit. It might be a little bit thicker back here, sharpened a little bit of a higher angle towards the base. That's not scratches, that's just, I think that's tape or something. But yeah, it did sharpen up good. This knife is thicker behind the edge. That's one thing with the Inkosi. The Sebenza and the Untitled, the reason I got them before I got this is because they have a deeper hollow grind. This is more of a shallow hollow grind, which kind of makes it, it's pretty much just a flat grind. Like, it's nothing special. But looking at the thickness behind the edge, 20 thousandths, that's what I measured. Might be a little bit off. Let me measure my Sebenza. This is, I think, like 18 or 19 thousandths behind the edge. Yep. Okay. So, Sebenza, it is about 20 thousandths behind the edge, which I like, but it does slow. It is thicker throughout the primary grind and thicker at the stock, so this just isn't going to cut as good as the Sebenza, which is once again a reason why this was the last knife I bought. Just looking at it on paper, I like it less than the Sebenza and the Untitled, so I completely expected this. And with these knives that are just thicker in general, usually I just end up sharpening them more because I can't get by with it, or if it's dull, it doesn't cut very good at all. If the knife's really thin behind the edge, I can still make it work when the edge is dull. So would I like to see this thinner? Yeah, I would, but I'm not really dogging on it as much because I knew what I was expecting before I bought it. And yeah, I overall like it. The Tonto blade, like the style of it, I think it looks really cool. It's like this convex edge up here, and it seems extremely strong. You could pry with this knife, definitely. But sharpening it, I don't plan on trying to sharpen this whole bevel here. I think I'm just gonna micro bevel it, just kind of keep it somewhat sharp. I'm probably not gonna use it very much at all, and not really need it for a fine cutting task, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, this does not prioritize slicing or cutting ability. It prioritizes toughness, which I can appreciate, but I don't really need. I think that's all I got for the blade. Yep, that's all I got. Let's move on to the fit and finish and lockup. So fit and finish, we are nice and centered, very tightly fit in the handles, no blade play, left, right, up, and down, just what you'd expect. This is using the ceramic ball as the lock interface, like the Untitled does, and then the new 31. With the 31, there was some issues with it, but the Inkosi and the Untitled have been running this ceramic ball interface for a while, and I have not really seen any issues with it, so I'm fine with that. And the only fit and finish issue I've had is this, and already when I've had it the first couple days, this pivot screw has backed out a little bit. I just tightened it before this video, so it's not doing it now. But after this video, I'm just going to put Loctite on it, let it sit for a couple days. That happens with, I know that happened with the pivot in this one, I believe. I don't think about it did with the Untitled, but also the pivot for my small Sebenza. And some people will say these screws don't need Loctite, but I mean, they supply Loctite in some of the little bags that they give with the boxes. So I think that they do, and they back out pretty quickly. Something I don't like to see, because it always worries me. Sometimes I'll be carrying the knife and I'll be like, man, my pivot screw's loose. I really don't want this thing to fall out. So I don't really like that about it, but you know, after I put Loctite in it, I'll probably forget about it. So not really that big of a deal in my book. But that's all I got. Or I'll show the lockup. It's good. You know, sometimes with these ceramic ball interfaces, the lockup looks later than it actually is, but that looks pretty early. Probably around that 50% where that ball is actually making contact. If you look at the back tang here, let me try and get this to focus. Well, it's focusing right on my crusty finger. There is the lockup on the tang. Overall, really happy with the lockup. The only fit and finish issue is that screw backing out, which really isn't much of an issue at all. Let's move on to the ergonomics. So this is something with the Inkosi that kind of scared me. What was another reason why I didn't buy it? Why I didn't buy it before I bought the Sebenza and the Untitled. If you look at this, it's got 2 finger grooves right here and then flat. The Sebenza really is just flat. It does have a finger groove, but that's really just a cutout. There's just a slight radius or whatever right there. for that pointer finger to sit in. And so this one, when there are more finger grooves, it locks your hand more into one position. And if your hands are maybe bigger than the finger, if your fingers are like bigger than the finger grooves or a lot smaller than them, it can ruin the knife. But they did a good job with these, at least in my hand. My middle finger fits great into the second one, and this first one is pretty big for my pointer finger. This is extremely comfortable. I used to have a 31 that was like the plain Jane version, and I would say that this Inkosi is more comfortable in that. Just feeling it right now, I haven't like bared down on this thing, so don't take this as my final diagnosis on the ergonomics of the Inkosi, but it feels better than the 31, but an inlaid Sebenza still feels better in my opinion. So, but overall, I'm really impressed with the ergonomics. Don't feel the pocket clip when I'm bearing down on it. The jimping, it is cool. I like it. It's like a pattern, almost like they do like 3 of them, and then it's maybe like 2. Like there's 3 and then a big gap, 3 and then a big gap. I don't know. Maybe it gives you a little more grip, but it's not sharp, so that's really all I care about. Overall, very impressed with the ergonomics, and I'm glad that they did not disappoint, just because there is more of a risk when there are finger grooves on a knife. Now let's talk about the carry. Carry is good. You know, it is pretty slim. I don't have the scale with me right now, but the pocket clip, this is one of my favorite pocket clips. The only downside that I see people have is it does kind of have a big ramp here, which can get caught on stuff. I don't think I've had my pocket clip get caught on anything, so that's nice. But overall, good clip. I like it. It sits nicely in the pocket. Don't feel like it's too heavy. I have worn like pants where I can pretty much carry any knife. So if you wear like sweatpants or I don't know, shorts, I doubt this is gonna be very comfortable in those, but overall carry is fine. I enjoy it. For the action, this actually flicks out better than my other 2 knives, the Sebenza and the Amazon, so that is cool. It kind of is dropping shut too. It actually hasn't been dropping shut, so I guess it did it for the video. But the action is that Chris Reeve knives action, but it does flick out a little bit better. I can kind of spidey flick it, I don't know. But I know some people can front flip these, which is cool. I went to Blade Show this past year, and there was an Olamic Wayfair, I think. No, the Whippersnapper, which is known as one of the best front flippers there is out there, and I could not front flip it open successfully, so I don't think I'm a very good front flipper when it comes to knives. But I think some people do with this one, which shows that it's got a pretty good action. But it's not going to be the fun fidget tool like your Riots and your Savivis and stuff like that. But I don't really care about that, just because I don't play with my knives very much. And if I want to play with my knives, I have some that are fun to play with, so I'll just play with those, I guess. And then I guess that's it. Now onto the value. Do I really want to talk about this in my first impression is the value of it? Overall, I'm happy with it. I bought it for like right over $400 on the secondary market. Secondary market for Chris Reeve knives is steep at the moment, especially with S45. Ever since that has come out, like the Amazons, they're going for like $550 and they're usually $450. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I haven't seen ones that have sold for $550, so they're probably selling for that $525 range. But still, that's like $75 over retail. And I don't know, when I had my Sebenza 31, I think I sold that for like $385. And so these things do hold their value. They usually don't go up in value. But Chris Reeve knives, I think they are pretty backed up in their shop, which is, it's never a good thing. And that just kind of makes the secondary market more inflated. I can't talk. It makes the secondary market more inflated. But I was happy with the price I got for this knife. So yeah, that's all I got to say for this one today. I don't know. I did a video comparing the Amazon and the Sebenza, so I might just do a video. It might be kind of redundant, but I don't know. I feel like I got all 3 of them. I kind of need to do a video comparing all of them. And then I could also do a video comparing all the different blade shapes. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll be thinking about it. Still, I'm going to give this knife some time to carry it. I didn't review this Sabenza until after a year of carry and use. This one, I think I gave it like 2 or 3 months. I don't think I need as much time with this, but you know, we will see. So that's all I got today. Thank you guys for watching, if you're still watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, I guess, if you want to. I don't really care, but I'll see you guys in the next one.